This video brought to you in association with Amazon.com, your one-stop shop for all things Minnesota Vikings, NFL, and much, much more. Links in the description. Hello everyone, if you are new to the channel then I am Savak, and today we'll be talking about Kirk Cousins, the Vikings, and why history suggests they'll rebound in 2019. But first, a moment of silence for my cat. Seriously, a couple days ago, my wife and I came home to discover our cat had dropped dead, and despite me being a dog person, it tore me the fuck up. This cat was a stray that wandered up to my wife one night and became part of our home. I didn't even want it initially, but it grew on me. In every video I've made up until this one, when I was recording the audio portion of them, that cat was either in my lap or on the back of my chair. So she'll be missed. But let's get back to football. Kirk Cousins, the mercurial quarterback talent with a $1 million smile that's probably best known for
You like that? You like that?
a prime example of the disparity between how much credit a quarterback gets for a team's success versus how much blame they assume for a team's failures. Of course, when you're set to make $84 million over 3 years and it's all fully guaranteed, it's kind of hard not to shift a little extra blame your way. But we know Kirk's not just in it for the money. For real. Otherwise, he would have taken the fully guaranteed $90 million the Jets offered him. But nope. Good old Captain Kirk said, "No, ye fair townsfolk, I will selflessly take $6 million less to play for a much better team with an actual shot of going somewhere." Because he's just nice like that. And because he was confident in his abilities. Now I know it's been said before, and probably to death at this point, but I'll say it again. Kirk Cousins is not to blame for the Vikings' offensive struggles. Nor was he to blame for Washington's during his time as their starter. No. That one is going to have to sit with the coaching staffs. I've reviewed Mike Zimmer's time as the head coach of the Vikings, and the reoccurring theme is offensive coordinators rise up and take a season to figure out what they're doing, and then in their second year, the offense hums and the team does well, before stalling out in the postseason, which ends up being enough to land said offensive coordinators more lucrative opportunities elsewhere. The exception in this case being Norv Turner, who unexpectedly resigned at the halfway point of the 2016 season because he felt he was holding the offense back, which is odd because the team started the season 5-0. Regardless, he was replaced by then tight ends coach Pat Shurmur. This of course was the same season in which they lost their starting quarterback, when Teddy Bridgewater dislocated his knee dropping back on a non-contact play at practice. The Vikings also went most of that season without Adrian Peterson, who tore the meniscus in his right knee in the home opener against the Packers. So needless to say, the offense sputtered. But then the following year, with a completely retooled offensive staff led by Pat Shurmur, who was retained as the OC, the Vikings went 13-3, supported by good play from Case Keenum, Latavius Murray, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Kyle Rudolph, and their vaunted defense, led by Everson Griffin, who recorded 13 sacks on the season, Harrison Smith, who led the team in interceptions, and Eric Kendricks, who led the team in tackles. The Vikings made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, thanks in large part to the Minneapolis Miracle, and then they were blown out 38-7 by the eventual Super Bowl champs, the Eagles. Many expected them to be right back in the mix the following year, especially since in the offseason they signed Kirk Cousins to a 3-year fully guaranteed $84 million contract, and they had the same skill position players returning. What many did not account for was the fact that offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur was hired by the Giants to be their new head coach, meaning that the Vikings offense would be led by yet another new coordinator. This time, Kevin Stefanski, who had been the quarterback's coach the previous season. Additionally, the Vikings also lost their offensive line coach, Tony Sparano, who sadly passed away from arteriosclerotic heart disease. And that may have been the reason for the offensive line's struggles that led to Kirk Cousins being sacked a whopping 40 times. Yet despite feeling the ground as much as he did, Kirk Cousins still vastly outplayed previous Viking quarterback Case Keenum, managing to throw for over 4,000 yards, for the 4th season in a row by the way, 30 touchdowns, a career high, to only 10 interceptions, his lowest total since becoming a starter, and all while completing 70% of his passes. 70%! Tom Brady didn't complete 70% of his passes in 2018. Neither did Big Ben, Matty Ice, the Luckster, A.A. Raj, or league MVP Patty Cakes. In fact, the only quarterback out of qualified passers who had a better completion percentage was Drew Brees. But Cousins had 117 more attempts than Brees did. Kirk Cousins was the only quarterback to throw for over 4,000 yards with a completion percentage of 70% in 2018. And in the last 10 years, the only other quarterback to do that has been Drew Brees, who did it 4 times. In 2009, 2011, 2016, and 2017. I said earlier that Kirk Cousins was not responsible for Washington's shortcomings during his time there, and I stand by that. Since Jay Gruden took over as head coach in 2014, the Redskins have only had 2 winning seasons. Their starting quarterback for those seasons? You guessed it, Kirk Cousins. And their offensive coordinator was Sean McVay, but that's neither here nor there because Gruden was hired for his offensive prowess. Yet, since 2016, after Sean McVay was hired to be the head coach of the Rams, the Jay Gruden-led Redskins have posted back-to-back 7-9 seasons. Yet for some reason, no one is talking about Gruden being on the hot seat. And what's worse is he may have been gifted a couple more years because of the drafting of Dwayne Haskins. Irrelevant. The point is, Kirk Cousins has had inconsistent coaching, yet he remained consistent. And Minnesota's recent history suggests they're headed for another rebound season, as the offense should find its stride under second-year coordinator Kevin Stefanski. We know what to expect from Kirk Cousins, and he has all the same weapons returning with him. If the offensive line can show improvement, then the offense should only get better. Imagine Kirk's numbers if he hadn't gotten sacked 40 times. This is, of course, not to suggest that Kirk Cousins doesn't have room to grow, as there's always room for improvement. Kirk specifically needs to work on avoiding tipped passes. He had a number of tipped and batted passes in 2018, and that's been a reoccurring issue for him. Fans and analysts alike seem to notice that he has a tendency to pat the ball immediately before throwing, and that could be what's tipping defenders off that he's about to uncork it. A user on Reddit thought of an ingenious way to use that to his advantage. If he started patting the ball on purpose to fake them out and get them to jump, he could create cleaner passing lanes to throw in. Just a thought. Based on where they are right now, the Minnesota Vikings should be on their way up. ESPN listed their offensive arsenal as the 5th best in the league. And with their down season in 2018, it seems they have slid from overrated to underrated. But what do you think? Will history repeat itself? Should we be on the lookout for another Vikings playoff berth? Or is it just a mirage? Will the Vikings simply sputter back to 8-8? Let me know in the comments. Links to dope-ass swag from Amazon in the description, as well as a link to my PayPal if you want to donate to my channel. Remember to like, subscribe, and ding the bell so that you are the first to know when the next video drops. Share with your friends, and thanks for watching.